CLG definitely are the ones looking to take it late game. They said it so many times, and their laning phase, it's not a secret that they have weaknesses in these new lanes that they've been using, but they've been looking so much stronger. So we'll have to see if Velocity can actually make use of that.
And meanwhile, of course, they're doing the pretty standard bans right here. NK Inc. has been given Evelynn so rarely in this split, and you saw TSM nearly pay for that mistake. The Kale ban from Vile Rose, again, the Velocity champions, like, you know what they're going to play, and it's up to how much these teams want to ban it out. So far, they're going 2 for 2.
Yeah, it's, I mean, we have seen Vile Rose on other champions, but he does sort of default to that Kale. And it's been a huge part of the way that they like to play, where they would rather block the damage with whoever's initiating that fight. So it's a good thing to take them out of their comfort zone and just shove him onto a different champion.
Well, there's Chris who's going to be on Elise anyway, so not really everything getting dropped away. But actually, backtracking to the bans, they've actually banned out a lot of pokers away from CLG. The Nidalee ban I was not expecting.
Yeah, we haven't seen that in a long time. You know, Link did play it way back in the spring split, and it's pretty effective at zoning out people, but we really haven't even seen a Nidalee effectively played in a long time.
So we'll see if that ends up being a valuable thing that CLG was actually hoping to run right here. I trust Velocity for the proper bans. But anyway, we saw that first pick Elise. It's kind of Logic Gaming's turn to make some choices. Interestingly enough, you know, we did see Rengar as a target ban against Coast, and you know, Nien's a player who still is under a bit of shadow, right? He's still new to that role, and he could have brought up anything. Okay, no, not so much.
I mean,
but
they're mousing over a lot of interesting stuff here, but they're not actually locking it in.
Yeah, they mouse over the line. They don't go for it that time around. Thresh and Jarvan, pretty standard pickup, still going to be grabbed.
Yeah, okay, so that's more in line with what we'd expect here. Big Fat LP probably going to go full tank on that Jarvan if he does take that one to the jungle. However, it could be lane for Nian Tanso. He's already used top lane Jarvan to really great effect by rushing that Tiamat very early and using the burst potential that you have when you have the early auto attack reset combined with the rest of his AD kit.
Uh-oh. Well, no, I guess the Lee Sin throws it away, but I was like, this looks like the jungle Ezreal comp, because they have the Janna in there, like, but then they grab Lee Sin with the Janna. It's like, okay, that looks a little bit less likely, but they rush locked in that Lee Sin, actually. Even though Zac and things like that are on the table, we wanted the NK Inc., I'm assuming, jungle Lee Sin.
NK Inc. jungles a lot of different things, though, so, you know, that still could be a solo lane Lee Sin, and they could pull sort of a sneaky jungle Ezreal coming out here and actually combine that. It could be a trick.
That's true. You're right about that. There's theoretically possible here. So, but the whoa, we just saw Devil pick Draven. Sorry, that just leaves me dumbfounded because this is a player who was like, Draven is a trash champion and no one should ever be playing it, like last split, and now he is, I think, the only AD carry in the North American LCS yet to play Draven.
Has he finally decided to eat his words? I don't know here. Maybe he wants to get in a game, undrain it. Oh, yeah, it could be a solo lane. But anyway, maybe Double Lift actually wants to get in a Draven game before he's changed.
There we go. So, of course, the final lock-ins came in from Velocity. They've got the Varus and the Rumble as well. So, no jungle Ezreal. Not so much this time around, but a pretty happy AoE team comp here for the Velocity group.
And it's interesting. I think it's going to be Vile Rose with that Rumble because he actually loves Rumble middle, and he'll take him in the short lane pretty often.
Yeah, we saw him run that a lot throughout the promotion tournament, I believe, was one of his favorite champions. Drew a lot of bans overall, but still very, very effective. And Counter Logic Gaming sees not the strongest of initiations necessarily and goes for the Xerath, saying, thanks, ManCloud, for running us, but that champion's amazing.
Yeah, it's interesting that they banned out the Nidalee, and Link just goes over and takes another very long-range AP poke-heavy champion. So it looks like Velocity had the right idea, and they knew what CLG were probably going to go for, but they're just going to default over to Xerath after that Nid ban.
Well, let's find out if Link can burst everyone else away, because the team comp is here, and I would expect it to Shen top and Jarvan in the jungle, but I suppose I've seen them go both ways. Big Fat LP and Nian deciding which ones they want to play. The Draven Thresh lane, really no stranger to lane bullies there, and I gotta feel like that's gonna be hard for Varus Janna to deal with.
Anytime you see the Draven Thresh lane, you know that is a full-out aggressive lane. They want to keep the other duo on their back foot, collect all the souls so that he can build up that AP and that armor. Plus, you just get to utilize Draven's constant pushing and tower pressure there. So it's going to be pretty interesting. I think they're going to leave the Shen and the Jarvan how they are, because just the way that the players play this game, Big Fat LP is always building full tank. And so that's really effective on Shen since he gains bonuses from health, whereas Nian likes to be another damage source, and he'll probably take that Jarvan.
No, it is Nian on Shen right here, and Jarvan for Big Fat LP in the jungle. So
yeah, wow.
Hardcore initiation there from Big Fat LP.
JK.
JK, we got it almost. But guys, we are getting ourselves into Loading Screen Freak and Kobe, bringing you game number 7 of the day. And don't forget, we have not only this game, but it's CLG, so it may take an hour, but another game after this one. So if you're planning on leaving, don't, because oh man, League of Legends still an amazing game to watch. And we are now on to the Rift. Counter Logic Gaming in red in the top right corner, Velocity eSports in the bottom left in blue. Let's see what they go for level 1.
Looks like they are going to do pretty standard here. Some pings coming out on their own red side jungle. So we've seen so many teams rush, invading the red side of their opponents. CLG setting up a little bit of a 4-man welcome committee here on their red side.
And a word did come out right there from Chowster, so they will see if Velocity moves on in. Vyros right now is spamming that Flame Spitter in order to give himself up to that 50 heat mark so he can start hitting people. CLG actually waiting around the backside still, and there's they see him, the hook comes in onto NK Inc. They have the follow-up they need because Xerath is not around. It's a 5-on-4 right now. CLG forced to run away.
So CLG were baiting that, but it was a 4-man bait, so 5 members of Velocity able to shove them out of their own jungle.
Well, power and numbers definitely effective this time around. You see him moving around, putting the extra wards down. They spot out Link. Link spots the ward, but as far as invades go, we see them most often used for wards just to get them down and get the vision. Velocity has done that successfully.
And because Link was not there at the beginning, you know, he was actually down at the bottom pre-warding that blue side. So since Velocity are actually having their AD carry and support go bottom, that ward will probably tip them off to any early invades here by the Lee Sin of NK Inc.
And speaking of being tipped off to early invades, Chris actually cocooned across the wall before he face-checked his own blue buff to see if it stopped to hit someone. I think you actually get a reveal as well if cocoon hits. So nice little adaptation there by Chris. You don't have to face-check things if you don't have to. Velocity eSports, though, still wanting to move in. They're pushing out towards this blue buff, pushing Link away.
Yep, so they do go for the late invade, and they get some decent harass on Link, but it is going to be 4 members just bullying Big Fat LP off of his own blue, and he's going to have a little bit later start.
Yeah, he's running towards his own red, and I want to see if Velocity can make this a 3-for-1 jungle trade right here, because that's really when you know it works out. Sometimes we see teams just trade back and forth, and nothing ends up happening, but they're a full buff ahead right now. See if Velocity can do it. Double lift 1v1ing Chris right there. Forcing Chris away, really.
Yeah, and we had Xerath here rotating over to the blue, so they are going to trade blues, but it's going to be a much later start for Big Fat LP. And with the dual lane middle for Velocity, it's going to mean that Link is under a lot of pressure at this mid to just clear the waves.
And Chowster actually absorbed experience from that blue buff getting taken right now, so Big Fat LP is actually still level 1, while NK Inc. is 3. If they fight for the red buff, that does not look happy for the CLG group right here. But this 2v1 mid, or 2v1 top, they are hiding, they're forcing Chris back.
Yeah, as you say that, we have a level 3 NK Inc. on Lee Sin coming in to fight the level 1 Jarvan. So Big Fat LP really going to have a hard time holding on to this one, even though both supports are collapsing.
Flag Toss comes on down. Both have burned their smites, though, but NK Inc., when it comes back up, will do more damage. NK Inc. still trying to pull this one down, pops his shield right there, gets the lifesteal. Another Flag Toss comes down. CLG is very aware of what's going on here. But again, the level advantage still around.
Nice Q.
NK Inc. wants to fight, absolutely. Can he get the slow on? Get the knock-up land? Yes, they landed on a Big Fat LP, down to 220 health right there. Puts the flag back down, but has nothing else to press. Oh, he flashes the Sonic Wave. The slow comes off onto Chowster, though, flays them backwards. They still want a little bit more blood. The hook lands on Evaniscus. Big Fat LP is still waiting around. They might chance this one. Another flag comes down. No, Evaniscus escapes this one, and now it looks like Velocity has the numbers advantage to take the fourth and final buff.
Well, they have 10 more seconds on this ward, so it could be a smite wars here. Like you said, NK Inc. does more damage, but now comes Link.
Ignite came off as well. NK Inc. takes a bunch of pain. Link, good job forcing him away. Double lift coming to snipe back around as well. If he can do the damage, could almost pick up NK Inc. And it looks like Velocity forced to run away.
So they were actually able to scare off, just actually fight off NK Inc.'s level 3 Lee Sin, and Big Fat LP finally able to secure the red. Double lift under advance.
And there's a lot of damage coming out from Chris. The spinning axe is doing a bunch. Chris forced to run. Oh, the flash away from double lift. Good job, Chris. 1v1.
So yeah, that was a forced 1v1 because Chaucer had to go help Big Fat LP with his very, very late jungle.
Maple Street, of course, in the meantime, had been holding on to this mid lane. It was weird, like, we had that 1v1 up top there between Chris and Doublelift, but at the same time, it was Maple Street 1v1ing Link, and so far, Maple Street has had a much better time at that one, 30-21 in minions. So that lane has, actually, I guess both these sort of top and mid lanes have gone well for Velocity.
Yeah, Velocity very happy with the way the early game started, but, and you can see it, look at the gold difference there. That's only from minions.
Beautiful stuff. 400 gold lead. Vile Rose and Nian actually fighting. And the thing is, like, for Nian, he's got to be used to fighting Rumbles in his sort of 1v1 matchups there. But it's interesting because it's Vile Rose here fighting Shen, which I gotta guess is more of a rare matchup for that man.
And they're actually in the long lane there. So Vile Rose a little bit out of his element there. And he's going to have a lot longer to retreat if he does get ganked. You can see he doesn't even have wards down in that bottom side. But since Big Fat LP was held up so much in the jungle, he doesn't have to worry. And now you can even see Big Fat LP in the mid lane showing up.
And actually, I want to point out an adaptation that Nian made about that 1v1. Knowing he had no jungle pressure, actually has 3 points in that faint shield. So Nian is actually taking up flame spitters as much as he can in order to try to last hit under turret there and not using the sustain from the Vorpal blade nearly as much. Now, we watch this mid lane, though. It's the 2v1. It's been this way the whole time. Velocity constantly pushing this turret down. They finally started to make some headway on it, though. See if they can do much damage.
Well, both junglers are doing the same thing over here. NK Inc.'s gone top to sort of help out his solo laner in the 1 vs 2 situation. Also, we'll have to see if Chris and NK actually go for a kill, though, because they do have kill potential.
They did that against TSM, actually. NK and Chris, though it was an Elise and not a Lee Sin, though similarly pronounced, not necessarily the same setup right here. And so far, NK Inc. is just waiting in the background as Maple Street continues to push Link away, dealing some pretty good damage.
Well, they actually are going aggressive up in the top there, and they were able to scare off Doublelift and Chaucer, who, by the way, Doublelift does still not have his flashback up.
At the same time, you watch the bottom lane, Vilerose getting pushed away by Nian and Big Fat LP. However, none of their CC was in range anymore, and Vilerose still has the equalizer. But look at that Jarvan. He's waiting in the brush. He's looking to see if Vilerose overextends and says never mind.
Yeah, he's just going to back right back out. Try and farm up his wolves and get back over to help the mid lane. Chris does get hooked in.
Ooh, a lot of pain there under Chris. The flash for the exhaust comes in. Chris forced to flash away. There's the lantern. Let's Doublelift walk back into range here for Chris. Can he get the damage he needs? So low on health there, under 300. Flay will not land. Chris gets away.
Very, very close right there. The extra move speed from Spider Form actually coming in handy. Here we have a repeat invade on the blue side here. Again, they're keeping up this pressure on Big Fat LP's jungle. Jarvan usually likes to make very early plays, but they haven't let him get the experience needed.
And you look at the level disadvantage, a level 5 NK Inc. to a 4.5 Big Fat LP. Now he is making his way over to the left-hand side of the map and should have a numbers advantage there to steal one back.
This is what you're supposed to do. Whenever you're weaker than the laners of your opponents, you go and try and trade the blue buff. So instead of trying to contest their own blue buff, CLG know that they would lose that fight, and they just go grab velocities instead.
And they did give it to Link right there. Oh my gosh, Chris, just 1 versus 2 kills off Chaucer. Now in a duel with Doublelift, but I think he might have picked the wrong lane to fight here. Here comes Big Fat LP, but the turret dagger actually forces Doublelift back. Big Fat LP forced to run away as well. Chris gets a kill in a 1 vs 3 and gets out.
Ooh, and he is hungry for some more too. He can keep on farming this lane. Amazing play by Chris right there. Very, very well. And that was really done by the early invades and all of the attention that NK brought into that red side jungle. That just freed them up for this free dragon.
So much effort put top, not even anyone looking at Dragon for that one. Velocity eSports starting the game out 1-0 in kills. Starting it out with a lot of pressure, better levels, and that first dragon, as you saw right there. Vilerose still dueling up against Nian, who was just trying to tank that Rumble out. But free farm Rumble is something that I think CLG should be pretty afraid of right here.
And he was able to keep Nian pinned in that lane so that there was no chance of anyone rolling up to contest that dragon. Great job there by Velocity. Chris looking for another play up here.
I feel like
he wants double lift.
This is so risky right here. Double does have every summon spell up right now. And Chowster, I guess he's just trying to get level 6 right here. I don't know, Chris. Oh, there's NK Inc. This could be good.
Okay, so he's waiting for some backup at least.
Oh, the flash comes out, but the cocoon still lands, and he says, no, I didn't hit double lift. Let's please get out of this one right here. So, nice attempt on the gank. Burns the flash,
Hey,
though.
man, free summoner spell. Take that one all day, every day.
All right, so good job there by Velocity Esports. Vile Rose, we still watch this guy, 66 to 59. The score is not far apart, him versus Nien, but you know, we talk about him. He's the Velocity's shot caller here, Vile Rose. He's on a comfort champion here on Rumble, and you know, he's scaling up. He's going to be that big AP carry, and he's doing well so far in this game.
Yeah, he is slightly winning the lane, and he'll be in position for even the next dragon that does come up. So as long as you're able to hold control of that bot, having Velocity switch their duo lane into the middle means that they gain so much map pressure from this early mid turret.
And then you're seeing it lose more and more and more health, almost about to fall down. The actual health bar on that is 198, so probably one wave away here. Looks like Counterledge Gaming looking to make some moves. They pull in Big Fat LP to the top lane. They might get that turret too.
There's just so much wave clear here for the Velocity. Mid duo. Link doing his best though to wave clear. Uses his ultimate. That cannon minion means the mid's going to go down though.
There it is, picked up right there. Chris looks for double lift and says, I can't deal with that one right there. It is getting outnumbered.
Whoops.
There's the Cataclysm. Chris has nowhere to go, gets played to the side. Double lift takes the kill down in style with his ultimate. Nice job there by CLG. They should get the turret too.
Was just about to commend Chris for his really good 2 versus 1 play, but a little bit too far right there, and he had no escape to get out of the Cataclysm. Now Vile Rose is exchanging with Nien down bottom.
And they're both just sitting there without any consumables left, just the rejuvenation beads. Now finally looks like Vile Rose wants to make his way out of the base, pops the equalizer, clears the minion wave and says, all right, I'm gonna buy some stuff. Has 2,900 gold to buy with, so he's gonna be blinging it out right now.
Looks like he goes with super early game here. Very good flat penetration with both the boots and the haunting guys. So he's going to get the maximum effect out of his early ultimates. The next dragon fight.
Oh, the ult lands out in the end though. So much burst comes across. They force him to flash away. Ignite burning. One last tick. Oh, he shields it with the Feint. Nice pickup there. And if the minions can die in time, Velocity could take that turret down.
Yeah, when you max Feint first, you're not going to worry about Ignite damage. But it looks like we do have Chaucer and Double Lift arriving in time to save the turret at least.
Good play then by Counterledge Gaming, defending their objectives. We see we're 1-1 in turrets, 1-1 in champion kills. The only thing actually separating these teams right now is that one dragon, making a 1,000 gold difference. And it's worth noting that in the very early game, we talked about a 400 gold lead just from minions, just from outlaning the opposition here, and that was Velocity Esports. Now, the 1,000 gold lead is just the dragon. The minion lead actually got close.
Look at this gank coming down by. It's both solo laners coming down to the duo.
What? No ult is available for Vile Rose. The lander comes across it, saves Double Lift as well. Really good disengage.
No daydreaming moves right there, hitting him mid-Dark Passage. That would have been a really sweet cocoon.
That would have been awesome.
Good escape there. Chaucer with the Thresh Lanterns. It shows that, you know, he's matured as a Thresh player.
That's true. We've talked about Chaucer having a really rough time playing Thresh overall, and he's doing a much better job this time around. I mean, he had that first blood death, but he's so far, other than that, done very, very well. A little bit of a catch on a Big Fat LP. Good damage out here from Chris. A lot of AP and Magic Pen. Almost went for the dive there. That was almost risky.
Well, you can see the effect of taking down an early mid turret here. Velocity are roaming so much, and they took the blue already. Now looking to cut off this bottom lane.
No ult for Maple Street, but they are trying to get this 2v2 going. Lee Sin and Rumble nearby as well. Could they dive the turret if they wanted to? Looks like CLG going to back off successfully, though. No one's going to force the issue just yet.
Chaucer knows what's up. He does spot him out with the ward, and Chris can actually steal this blue buff away pretty easily.
He got it right there away from Nien, so good job. And now forced to run away with Ignite on the taunt lands, though. Nien wants this battle to happen, and Chris, I think, is going to have to keep running away. Another Vorpal Blade lands, still running towards his turret. Chris putting a bit of damage down there, but I think he will run away from this one, but good blue.
Look at Nien Tanso's build. He's rushed that wit's end, looking for the heads-up fight with Elise. He's got the early magic penetration from his fight down bottom with Rumble, and it works out perfectly against Chris as well.
And that turret now at the bottom, so low on health, can't quite pick it up. Velocity is CLG still holds onto that one just barely, and you know Velocity's going to want to try one more time, just do that little bit more damage. There's the Janna shield. There it's picked up. 2 turrets to 1. Velocity still with the early game lead.
And 30 seconds left on Dragon means that control of that bottom area. Oh my goodness, Chris.
Oh, the plays right there. Chris has to run away from this one. Nian does not have Flash, does not have Shadow Dash. Good escape there by Chris, repelling away. So now can he heal in time to assist the Dragon fight?
That Wits End rush by Nian. We deal so much auto attack damage. It is catching Chris off guard. The extra magic damage that you get from that on hit really stacks up.
That seemed to do very, very well for him. So Chris makes an adaptation and says, all right, so I'm going to buy a lot of health right now. I'm going to get a Giant's Belt out there. We've seen him go Sunfire on Elise a heck of a lot. Does increase his split pushing speed.
Yeah, no, already on the turret. He's going to get some free hits. The Stand United's available. So this next Dragon fight will actually be able to be joined by Nian if he's able to get far enough away from Chris. It looks like he's going for the bushes here, and this could be a 4 versus 5. That's why Velocity got to pull out.
They are running away right now, and they're going to let Chris continue the split push on the left-hand side. Nian's actually going to recall back, so he'll get some new items for himself. Sitting on 800 gold, buys Boots 1 and a Ruby Crystal. So still going well on his way towards scaling up with their ability.
Whoa!
Velocity want to restart this, though.
Whoa, Velocity. They don't have the man advantage here. Elise is still up top lane. CLG could go in.
And Cake waiting on the other side of Dragon right here. I think he could hop over a wall. He has a Sight Stone there, so waiting around. There's the jump away. Dragon at half HP right now. Elise finished pushing the way towards the top turret, but doubles are pressuring mid right now, and no one from Velocity's here.
So CLG actually prefer the damage on that mid turret from taking a 4 versus 5 fight.
And Link still poking away. I mean, right now, this seems like the better situation for Counter Logic Gaming. They finally pulled Chris down to challenge this one 5v5 if Nian ults in.
Oh my god! That is the best Rumble ultimate I've seen.
And there we go. Almost lands on a double. He's forced to flash away from the wall. Maple Street misses the ult though. And now the burst on a Chouster. Very, very low on HP. Link trying to fire back. The ult comes across. No, 1 kill picked up. Maple Street getting the credit, but NK Inc. Will he drop? No, he dodges the whirling death. And Chris waiting for Link right here in the brush. It's got to be careful though. Lands a stun. Will he go for the assassination? No, his Shen ult comes across. Knocked out by Big Fat LP, and Chris does not have a way out of this one. He's going to trade his life away from this one, but Velocity have control of Dragon right now.
Velocity had that one. They just had to stick together, and now they've lost it. NK going down to Dragon.
Oh no, he does not have any wards left to jump away. Has to jump to a teammate. Big Fat LP, QE almost lands. Now will they get the steal? Nian gets the kill right there. Oh! And Maple Street steals away the Dragon. Sorry, didn't steal away the Dragon. I take that back. That was a kill on Jarvan. And now they are starting to run away. Link putting in a lot of pressure.
This is the most ridiculous Dragon fight I've ever seen. Started off with a beautiful Rumble ultimate there from Bio Rose. Down that ramp, getting all 4 members of CLG so low that Nian didn't even use his Stand United, and they gave up Chouster. But then the overextension by Velocity, they start giving back kills, and nobody gets the Dragon.
Nobody got it. They did at least burn the long cooldown on Nian's ultimate right there, but we're back to a laning phase right here with no Dragon for it. 3-3 in kills, a 17-minute game right here with just that 1,000 gold lead that has remained constant for a while now. Velocity just barely ahead, trading fights back and forth.
Chaucer does take this momentary calm and to clear out the wards around Dragon, though. So again, it is in CLG's favor, the vision of the HP bar of Dragon, but Velocity does have a few wards sort of far back in the jungle that will tip them off if CLG actually go over to the pit.
And speaking of wards, I want to point out 2 builds here on Velocity. Evaniscus, instead of going for the Ruby Sightstone, has gone double gold per 10 right now on Janna. And it's actually NK Inc. And I realize he's got that Sightstone to jump towards in general, but it's the jungler buying the Sightstone. It's gold per 10 coming in from the support.
Yeah, Lee Sins love to buy those Sightstones so you can start making the plays. That's what really makes Lee Sin viable in the late game. Double lift here, though. He's getting pretty far.
No stun lands from Chris, though. Does he have the damage he needs? He might not. Oh, the lantern comes out. That's going to be enough to save double if the equalizer does not quite land there. Chouster burns down a little bit. Leandri's putting in good damage, but the double gets away without burning much.
Very, very lucky right there. Double lift. Very low, though, for this Dragon fight. No Rumble ultimate. CLG could actually contest this one. Link's got his. He's ready to poke.
This could be risky overall. There he goes. Siege is up. Will he find the damage up? It lands a little bit onto Chris. There's a dunk in. Big Fat LP. Hook does not quite land. Viros in the middle of the enemy team. Can he burn down Chouster in time? So low. Yes, he does, but double lift fires back. He's in the battle. Evanescence knocks the enemy team away. And Ink still up in the mid lines. Nien just diving the backside right here. Maple Street has nowhere to go. Is going to get dropped down. Nien is just chunking people right now. The knockout from Evanescence might not be enough. Still getting chased down. The red buff is there. Slowed over and over again. Walks to his turret. This is not going to be a save right here. CLG picking up a big team fight win.
And again, the Dragon's still up here, so that is going to finally be free for CLG to take when they decide they want their spoils. But they could just leave it up as another bait and keep on drawing Velocity back over here. They're going to get 2 free turrets right now.
Exactly. Looks like they wanted turrets more so than the Dragon itself. The mid lane goes down to double. The bottom lane getting fired at right now by Link. That's looking like it's his as well. So CLG turning their team fights into a lot of map pressure right there. About to be 3-2 in turrets if Link stays for this.
Oh, he's going to have to take a tower shot, but he'll take that one. That was just 3 giant global objectives for CLG off the back of a 1 team fight. So they just spiked up huge in this game. And if they can get back to actually purchase before Vile Rose gets in here, then they'll definitely have the upper hand.
Everyone's sitting on 1,000 to 2,000 gold right now. 1,200 for Big Fat LP, but the mid laner and the AD carry sitting at 1,900 right here. So a lot of power about to be ingested into the team. Now Velocity, they do get to steal away the blue buff, though. That's a little bit of a nice thing for them. NKing's going to have that one and hurt Link a bit for that.
Yeah, it's a small prize, though, because Nien just bought a Warmog straight up off of that fight. He was so fed already. He was doing ridiculous damage because of this Wit's End rush. Now he's going to be doing even more damage because of his passive and be super tanky.
His key strike is hitting for 172.4 right now.
Evanescence is in his sights too. Let's see that damage in action.
Evanescence gets taunted up. There's the burst, bring him down to half HP right there. In the end, just a few more shots to go. The shield comes out. This is not looking happy. Cocoon, though, is going to scare the team away. Evanescence, oh, he's nearly getting jumped on. The burst, not quite enough. And the team saves it. Ult was burned. Link's going to have that on cooldown for a while.
Big Fat LP just out of range for the Cataclysm right there. But you're right, Link's ulti is down, so they'll be a little bit safer under this turret.
Let's see if Velocity can capitalize on that right now. Evanescence is forced to heal back right there. Picks up another green ward, is now starting on his Ruby Sightstone, or just the Sightstone in general. You can see the Ruby Crystal there right now. But Counterlogic Gaming still wanted to play the aggressors. Even without the ulti from Link, Nien split pushing the top, and the team is joining him.
And it's really good that they just came from Fountain. Link still has full mana. Both blue buffs were taken by Velocity, but it looks like CLG have plenty of disengage.
Yeah, they've walked away from this one very successfully. There we go. Back into the siege is Xerath. And Velocity not able to find the engage they wanted. Verosols haven't started it, and Ink hasn't started it, and Vile Rose equalizers they're pretty good.
Oh yeah, they were pretty good. One of them was outstanding. Since then, they've been decent. CLG though, they don't want this fight right now because Link didn't have his ultimate. Now it's back up. All they have to do is play their CLG game though. They're not a team that rushes into these things quickly. They have a very, very strong Shen right now. Nien Tanso can solo anyone on Velocity, so all they have to do is send Nien Tanso to a side lane, Stand United's available, the rest of CLG group up. This is textbook split pushing play with a global ultimate.
And let's see if there's any response here from Chris or the rest of Velocity. I gotta assume it's gonna be Chris the one who has to deal with the split push heads up right there. You can see him in the lane right now. But the problem is we've seen this fight before. The Warmogs and Wit's End really have just taken a number to Chris right there, and Elise has not been able to win those battles. So I feel like what does Velocity do when they can't actually 1v1 the split push? Do they try to just gank the Shen and hope that works, or try to force 5v4s elsewhere?
You would love to hard engage on a Xerath. That's already one of Xerath's weak points. But if they can actually force that and jump on him or double lift, then they'll take that 5 versus 4 and force Nien to Stand United in. The other option is going for a gank on that Shen, but look at the wards from CLG. They know that that is a possibility, and they've got a deep ward in by that blue buff area. So Nien Tanso, he's feeling pretty safe about his split push.
He's going to be safe so far. You're seeing nothing really work against him. 3-0 into that champion. He's been able to duel Chris. He's been able to duel Vile Rose in the early game, and he's been able to duel, I should say, even 1v3 the enemy pack line in team fights. Not much has been stopping Nien so far in today. So Vile Rose is sweeping away some minions down here, but he's not the richest man right now. Honestly, a lot of hopes seem to rest on Velocity's Maple Street. 190 minions working its way towards a Phantom Dancer. Definitely would say the richest man on his team.
Yeah, Velocity, not only are they counting on Maple Street to put out the damage during that team fight, but they need a good chain of corruption. They have to land that CC because other than that, all I have is the slow from Rumble. They need to combo those two ultimates, Chains of Corruption plus that Rumble ulti, and then they have a good chance in the team fight.
That's what it's going to rely on then. Maple Street, it's on you. Land the skill shots, land the auto attacks, and hope you don't die in the end in the process because he's going to hunt for you in the back line. Chris, in the end, a battle in the top lane. Does good burst, of course. Remember that percent health damage. Chris is going to chunk him in the beginning of this.
CLG are actually going fairly greedy here, and they're split pushing all 3 lanes.
Chris is going to try to force back. There's the stun. Lands. You actually go through the ignite. This could be an attempted kill here by Chris. The Spiderling's going to take the turret at the start here. Lands another Q. The shield comes out from Nien. I don't know if Chris has what it takes to follow up on this one. Lee Sin nearby. Oh, he does! Wow, Chris 1v1s Nien just straight up in the top lane. That's going to alleviate a lot of pressure.
Yes, so about that fed Nien. Yeah, Chris does not care. Here's the Cataclysm Initiate.
We have a 2v2 in the bottom lane as well, though Vile Rose gets knocked up in the meantime. Trying to run away from Link, and Big Fat LP is not quite in range of the augmented mage chains there. So Vile going to successfully disengage from that one. And the pressure in the top lane, that might just give Velocity a turret here. That's something they needed.
Great job by Chris right there, showing the experience in that top lane. The Wit's End, you actually need to get your auto attacks off to build up the extra magic resist. If you have Chris coming in with his burst damage before you've been stacking up that magic resist with your auto attacks, then it actually isn't as strong of a defensive item as you would think.
And of course, in the rest of the map, though, oh, Chowster stole that one away. Was not expecting the piercing arrow coming across from Maple Street. So even though Maple didn't actually get the red buff, he at least kept it off of Double Lift. But I kind of want to talk about the fact that CLG, even though they lost that top lane matchup, were still fearless in the bottom. They still stole away the red buff. They were still pushing in the mid lane as well. These guys cannot be refrained right now.
Yeah, they still have it going according to that CLG plan where Double Lift is accumulating most of the gold. He's got 4 of the kills and most of the farm here. You can see with the Infinity Edge plus Bloodthirster, he's not even going attack speed. He's just going straight up damage, wants to hit like a truck.
I've seen that build actually before today. I forget which AD carry it was, but I saw the Bloodthirster eye edge come out, and guy hit pretty hard. So we're going to see Double Lift go for the early chunking in these team fights. Chris picks up the blue buff for himself. I've got to say, blue buff Elise going to be one of the more powerful ones there as well. And he's actually picked up the Riley's Crystal Scepter as chasing potential to start chasing down Nien.
And it's going to be up to Chris to be able to get on Double Lift and stick to him. He needs that slow and he needs the burst damage because Double Lift is the main source here for CLG. As usual, they're going to be relying on him to get off as many auto attacks as possible throughout that team fight.
Well, good luck, Chris, then. The hopes now seem to rest on you. And the engage comes in, actually. It's Big Fat LP alone in a 1v3, hoping the rest of his team shows up. There's the Shen ult as well. John is going to blow them back, but it's now in range of Fire Rose. Hook lands. That is going to be a very, very dead Rumble right here. However, the rest of Velocity are still taking down Baron.
Yeah, they're trying to do it, and they're tanking it with the spiders here, but CLG have no idea. This is probably going to be a free, well, not a free Baron. They're going to be able to get the Baron. It was at the cost of Vile Rose's life.
That's going to be worth it, though, as long as they don't take too much more time, because CLG are still pushing down the front door in a 5 versus 2. This mid turret's going down.
So they actually also trade a turret. 1 kill, 1 turret, still a good trade for Baron. Velocity needed that one because now, even though they're behind in gold, they regain control of the map and they can make the next play here. They need to make something happen with this Baron buff, though. There is a window on their little power spike.
And right now that window is about 3.5 minutes. They've got it on 4 people, which is pretty good. That's a pretty good amount. You'd like to have it on Vile Rose's Rumble, but unfortunately he did die trying to bait out the
noble
mid lane.
Sacrifice.
Pretty noble sacrifice. I think that's one of the times you say worth it in all chat.
Yeah, there
and then
you
everyone's
go.
like, yeah, you're right. That was well played.
Good job, Vile. Yeah, and that's actually funny that Velocity pulled off the 2-man Baron against CLG, because CLG were one of the first teams to pull that sneaky strategy and go with the jungle plus top laner soloing Baron.
And I have to point out
duoing.
I have to point out something. So depending on when this ward actually went down, I didn't actually see. There was a ward in this little small brush right in front of Baron. And if it's possible that Velocity managed to sneak around that cleverly, the engage comes across to the hook, lands on a Chris, the mid turret down low on health. Chris actually dodging all the damage there. This will be Velocity's turret, and of course they have the regen. Ooh, it's not quite their turret, but they have the regen from Baron to keep pushing.
Yeah, so what it was is the Lee Sin plus Elise, able to repel in, and then Lee Sin safeguard right on top of him. So good job, some nice sneaky play there, and they do want the rest of this turret right here. CLG are going to be looking for Nien to be the one taking any damage, but it looks like they don't want to fight right now, and they'll wait out that velocity time, the Baron buff, and then they will look to start up their split pushing game with Nien Tanso.
And right now is a giant minion wave push on the left-hand side that Velocity must react to, but they're going to go for the engage instead. NKA gets taunted out. There's the disengage from Big Fat LP as well, but Repel just comes across. It's going to be another team fight, but do they have what it takes? The equalizer comes across the entire team of CLG. Big Fat LP tries to disengage.
Oh my god!
And there's the push in on Chowster. They get Chowster. Chain of Corruption lands on almost everybody, but Devil just cutting back successfully. Nien shields the damage away. 1-for-1 so far. Can Maple Street turn this one around? Lands the slow on a double, does not land the snipe though, and that left-hand side turret falls down. Those minions making a big play for CLG, just like they did at MLG.
What a combo right there. Usually you see the Cataclysm Rumble combo on the same team, but Big Fat LP actually using the Cataclysm and then Val Rose used that terrain against them. Got everyone in that very nice Rumble.
However, CLG seemed to have gotten more out of that fight. They killed the top laner and they lost the support. CLG killed the second-hand turret on the left-hand side. There's a lot that was gained here.
It looks like they're just going to back off right now. Velocity were happy with just that one turret for their Baron buff, and they're going to lick their wounds and spend their cash.
And it's going to be pretty okay for them. So a 2,000 gold difference right here between these teams. Pretty small overall. So something that either team can definitely pull up. Now, I know Counterlogic Gaming likes to play for the late game, but at the same time, we tend to consider Draven a champion that is harder to play in late game team fights. Tends to have lower damage output just because you pay a lot of price in positioning. And that could be a good thing for Velocity here.
It puts a lot of pressure on your front line to play perfectly when you have Draven. Because if you do have a beast for... Oh my god, Chris.
Oh, Chris getting found out by Big Fat LP, but of course there's a lot of damage coming across right here, forcing Big Fat to jump over the Dragon Wall successfully and safely with 1 minute to go till Dragon.
So when you have Draven, you put a lot of pressure on your front line to be strong because Draven, he can put out very, very, very high damage, even in team fights, but he relies on that positioning and catching those spinning axes, which means it's up to Nien, Big Fat LP, and Chowster to hold Velocity in place and peel for him.
So, Nien, it's on you this time around. He's in the bottom lane. He is playing the split push role, and well, he's holding Velocity's team split apart at the very least. You're seeing that someone has to react to Nien's split push over and over and over again, and that even when Velocity had Baron, they didn't get to do a ton with it, honestly. They got a couple of small victories here, but ultimately Velocity are down in turrets 4-5. Chris is doing his best to duel against Nien, but you can see the lanes are pushed into Velocity's territory. CLG are the ones controlling the map a bit.
Yeah, let's take a look at Chris because he is building to stop Nien. He wants to kill Nien again. He got a taste of blood and he liked it. So you usually don't see stacking Liandry's because you can't get two of those same debuffs on the same person. But since Chris is probably going to be split pushing and just going heads up with Nien, it's a great item to fight against a Warmog's Sunfire Cape Shen who's stacking health.
Exactly. I was going to point out that he went for Sunfire when he's fighting a magic damage dealing champion who also deals % health. Sunfire, I think, literally doesn't help him tank anything that Chris is putting out.
Yeah,
something like Spiderling.
Very little right there. So yeah, it's a really good building here by Chris, and you can tell what Velocity are thinking with this by that build. Looks like...
Go ahead.
Dragon's coming up.
Dragon's coming up, and they've got a minute and a half till Baron as well, so they could successfully take this. Heck, they could burn ults for it and still have them back up for the, I assume, pending Baron fight in this battle as well. And right now, Velocity are well positioned for it. This is theirs. Yeah, this is a terrible, terrible positioning for CLG. If they run down that corridor, then it's just setting up Vile Rose for another really good Rumble ultimate. Any of these small jungle avenues that he can get a full ulti on would be game-breaking. And there's the engage. Big Fat LP just chunking the team together right there. Equalizer comes across Nien, finds the backline. Maple Street has nowhere to go. Forced to run away from Nien, flashes away as well. Shouts is going to get found out. Vile Rose forced to run away though. Doubleth is still safe. He finds Chris. A lot of damage coming across right there. CLG look like the confident team. Oh, beautiful knock from Evidence stops that. Oh, Santa's side nearly lands. Another poke. No health bars left on Velocity. A 1-for-1. after the Dragon.
So low right now, velocity just get chased off, but you could see how Niantanso and Big Fat LP played that. They're blinking low right now because they went all in and they were putting velocity on the back foot, which allowed Double Lift to continually put out the full potential of that Draven damage and catch all of his axes.
And I do have to hand it to Big Fat LP. He is 0, 1, and 10. He has had a hand in every single kill Counter Logic Gaming has gotten so far this game. He is. You talked about the one, like, there was a weird Cataclysm Equalizer interaction a couple team fights ago, but he is starting these fights that are at least going equal for them, but he's certainly being involved every time CLG picks something up.
Yeah, it is interesting how Vile Rose is trying to use that Cataclysm against him every single time. We just saw it again in that team fight where Big Fat LP lays down the Cataclysm, but then Vile Rose throws his ulti right on top of it.
And the cool thing is, the rest of CLG's lineup, aside from Nien, is more or less ranged, so they are able to play outside the Cataclysm here, and CLG just pulls in the entire team, and now they're the ones sneaking Baron.
Yeah, they say, Velocity, you think that was your trick? We've been doing this for years. They all jump over the wall, and they're doing the 3-man Baron sneak. Wards in the river are not giving Velocity anything.
Absolutely amazing play right there. Baron picked up. And they're like, Link, why are you oh, crud, that's not good. You just did what we tried to do. So, Baron getting traded back and forth right there. This one, of course, picked up for Counter Logic Gaming. And that puts them now only 1,500 gold up, but they are wearing a Baron buff.
Yeah, CLG showing those young whippersnappers how it's done. Double Lift does have to back off right here. A little bit overextended, but it looks like they are going to have 5 members with that Baron buff. So now, it is going to be the split pushing strategy that they wanted to do all along. They had to delay it while Nien was not strong enough to take on Chris, but now all they need is a blue buff on Link, and they can siege up at the middle with 4 people while Niantanso split pushes the bottom.
Let's see where they go with this one, because Nien is pushing that bottom lane
He's
down.
got 2 people on him.
2 people are showing up to see if they can do it. NK Inc. tries to push forward. Nien rushing backwards. No slow from Maple Street. The Shadow Dash used. Nien is safe, and now they've got a power play 4v3 in the mid lane.
So because CLG are trying to take advantage of all the time of this Baron, they haven't had time to ward up that red side jungle yet. So Nien split pushing a little bit blind right now, which is kind of dangerous, but CLG have been able to corral all of Velocity inside this middle area.
Here we go. The siege has begun. The wave clear is still pretty good from Velocity. They have picked up a lot of ability power damage, a death cap, and most of a void staff here from Vile Rose. So if he does get hit the back line, those guys are going to drop fast.
And I was saying there's so much pressure on Maple Street to land that chain of corruption in the team fights because that's the hard CC his team is relying on. But look what Double Lift has rushed for his 3rd item, the defensive item. He's got the Quicksilver Sash. So even if that chain spreads to him, he'll be able to get out of it.
Ouch. So good luck with that one right there. It might be hard to get rid of Double Lift, maybe too difficult indeed. Nien has pushed down that bottom secondary turret. The rest of CLG say, you know what, I want to get another turret out of this one. They're looking at the inhibitor right now.
So they actually rotate down to join Nien, and they're going to keep Big Fat LP over in that middle. They're just trying to keep up the pressure on all sides now, and they're waiting for the poke to take effect because they have that regeneration from the Baron buff.
And you're seeing, though, Velocity try to do the best they can to wave clear. The Janna Howling Gale is actually only rank 1. They do have a max piercing arrow there. And there we go. The poke comes across. Do they have the damage they need? The Janna Shield helping to stop Double from taking that one down. More burst comes out from Link. Doesn't do a lot of memorable damage, but that turret has been scarred for life. It's going to keep losing health every time.
Yeah, the ultimate from Link was spread out in 3 different people there. So, you know, he didn't get concentrated damage on anyone. And the cooldown, he actually doesn't have a blue buff either, so it's going to be a little bit before that one comes back.
Another WQ comes across. Double Lift still sweeping out these minions right here. Actually, a little bit of a catch there on Nien. A lot of damage, bringing him down below half health. Of course, slowed by the Rileys as well. However, they might just be collapsing on Chris. Chris has to turn around.
Chris, such a good answer for Nien right now because of that way that he built for soloing Nien and for dueling him. It's going to put CLG, it's going to put a lot more time here into the CLG push.
Right now, let's see if Velocity can have an answer for this one. Viro's taking more damage. The team grouping up, trying to take this one down, but Big Fat LP has jumped in this one, gets a lantern though. He might try to get away from this one, can't quite do it. Is there going to be a fight out of this one? Still, the ult for Link is back up, and this turret still taking damage. NK8 goes for it. Can he push back Double? He does. Do they have the engage they need? Eagles comes across. Double getting 7,000 health worth of shield, but do they have the follow-up damage? They still don't. Double takes up the team. Double kill so far for Link, 3 kills picked up for CLG overall. They're crushing the team fight. Only Evan is alive.
That's what happens when your Lee Sin isn't perfectly smooth. They had to trade flashes there a little bit too slow on the kickback, and Double Lift was able to just barely survive with the giant Shen ultimate plus the Lantern Shield. And now they're going on Nexus turrets.
That's going to be the game. Counter Logic Gaming works for it very, very hard. Had an early game, bit of trouble, but they found the team fight they wanted. They found the push they needed. This is going to be the Nexus going down, and Counter Logic Gaming picked themselves up a win against Velocity.
Congratulations, CLG. Finally able to do it right there. Niantanso didn't have to fight with the spider any longer.
Good job, guys. Good job. You can see them smile from Double Lift. I think you heard him right there. He said, "Yeah, Draven's OP." So, bit of a 180 from Double Lift compared to a few months ago. But he seems he's a
believer.
He's a believer this time around. He's found what he needed to find. He is now a member of the League of Draven. He's playing the same game as everyone else.
Well, he barely stayed alive due to lifesteal in that last time there from Lee Sin. So very, very clutch plays and very, very well played team fight there from CLG.
Yeah, CLG, great team fighting mechanics. It's always been one of their better traits, I would say, as a team, is getting into the team fights and performing them very, very well. You saw the amount of layered protection just given to Double Lift there, right? You talked about it. It was the barrier, the Lantern Shield, the Shen ult, and his health bar went down to about 300 and then almost filled back up just from shields. And then he lifestealed probably another full health bar worth of health. And you saw him get ripped apart by the Rumble ultimate, hit really hard by Chris's Elise, nearly dropped down, and just there was enough layered defense that even Draven, who's hard to position, survived that onslaught.
Well, we just heard in the interview earlier, CLG have a very annoying strategy where they pile shields on top of Double Lift, and we saw it in action there. The Thresh and the Shen saving his life. 7-0-2 Draven, 15,500 gold, more than anyone else in his team, let alone anyone in the game. Successful game from Double Lift. Now, guys, we've got to take a short break, but when we return, CLG's top laner Nian will join us to talk about their win. And then it's time for our final match of the day, Dignitas versus Vulcan. The North American LCS Summer Split will be right back.